Okay, so I haven't really been working on my fishing game because I kind of hit a wall. I think I talked about it in the last update, but I just didn't feel like my code was put together very well, and it was taking me really long um, to add new features, even though they weren't like complex or anything. But I made it difficult on myself because obviously I don't really know what I'm doing. So my code was spaghetti and all that nonsense. So things just weren't put together in the right way, and I kind of just came face to face with that, and um, I knew that I would have to start over, and I needed to learn more and get more tools and get more comfortable. And I ended up finding, if some of you might recognize what you're looking at here, but Code Monkey on YouTube has a free course, and I think he's working on another free course, but it's a 10-hour video where he just step by step, like the entire project, he just makes a game, like he just makes a whole fucking game, like. So I thought that was crazy, and this guy's really good, and he's got, he makes games. He's a professional indie game dev. So like, I, since I don't really know what I'm doing, it's kind of hard for me to, um, like, I spend a lot of time second guessing my decisions, which for good reason, because a lot of them were wrong. But it wasn't a very effective use of my time to kind of move forward with the project as it was, and refactoring it seemed like an arduous task because I would still be working with a comparable level of knowledge while refactoring, so I could potentially refactor it and then not really have made it much better, or um, I don't know. I didn't feel like I had enough knowledge or enough tools to move forward in a meaningful way, and make effective use of my time. So I saw that he had this course, so I basically just been watching this course instead of working on my game, um, because this course is just crazy. Like, if you're trying to get into game dev or anything, um, I would recommend getting to a point where you feel frustrated and then watching this, because it's a lot of it is still like he moves very quickly because he knows what he's doing, and the stuff is all good. Like, he's got a good architecture, he's got a good workflow, he's got a good separation of logic, and so like it's all, this is just stuff that he does. So I'm learning a tremendous amount, but stuff is still getting lost, and because I'm learning so much, like a lot of it doesn't stick, but there are things that occur frequently inside the project that he walks you through refactoring events, when to create new scripts, potentially where those scripts should be, or where you should look at creating a new script. Um, this is the project over here. These are, in this drop down, are the assets that he gives to you for free. All of these are just assets that are included in the project course. So these are all functional assets that he paid for, and he just releases for free. Like, it's crazy. Like, this is actually crazy. What you're getting out of this. So we have a bunch of prefabs for, and he walks you through, obviously, like all of these. I've just copying what he's doing and trying to understand what he's doing and why he's doing it. But just the repetition here, the repetition of making a prefab, or what can you do? You can prefab variant, doing prefabs variant. So you have your base prefab, and then you do a variant, and like there are common things on all of these, and just how it gets structured and repeating that process, it just inevitably will make you more comfortable with doing some of this stuff and understanding why and where it should be implemented. We have a lot of scriptable objects in this project, and a lot of them are, references to game objects. These are recipes, but like you get just doing this kind of makes more sense of scriptable objects and how they can be used. And this is nothing like what I want my game to be, but just seeing how things can be used has given me just a tremendous amount of ideas and ways to approach the game differently. And he does things in different ways to just kind of show you how you can attack a problem in different ways. So I really appreciate that in his little course here. So I'm about, I guess, 8 hours in, which it's been a lot longer. I've been basically, I think, probably since the last video, I haven't really touched the fishing game. So since then, I've basically just been doing this. And it's nice just to, if you don't have a lot of time, you can just hop in here for an hour, 2 hours, and knock out a module. All these are modules essentially, and he adds the sound effects in this one, and the music in this one, and Delivery Manager UI in this one. So you can, if you have just a couple hours or whatever, you can just hop in here and do that and make progress and see, and just get your fingers in your head used to these systems and implementing them. And I just think it's really great, and I really appreciate that resources like these are available. And basically just that's what I've been doing. So it's not really an update on the fishing game, but I think that this is kind of an invaluable resource for me at my stage of game development. So I wanted to take the opportunity to to take advantage of it. It's not going anywhere, and he's might have on a whole another free project. And then also after this, right, he produces this game. I'll show you. I'll link his course and everything in the description. But it's like Overcooked, if you ever played Overcooked. But like you have your things. I don't know what they're called. Container counter or something. They got stuff in them. And you go and you get your tomatoes, and then you can cut them up, put them down. It's music playing. I don't know if you can hear the music, but so you can cut this stuff up. You get your plate. You can put the stuff on the plate. Oh, I burned the meat, but whatever. So you can see how many different things are really happening in this simple little game. All these counters have to give stuff, be able to place stuff on them, cut the thing, the plate, how are these getting on the plate? What's happening to these when they move from the counter to in your hand? I can send that recipe off. There's recipes over here that the customers want, and if I do it correctly, that stuff actually works. And I'll just do one correctly so you can see. But so a salad, and then that one goes away, and then another one will spawn. And there's just a tremendous amount of systems here in this simple little game. And it's just so nice to have somebody kind of walk you through that and show you ways that work, and you don't have to second guess yourself necessarily. And he's not, his only thing that he really harps on is just making readable, clean code, and not necessarily you should always do it this way or anything. It's just, this is a way that makes sense, and here's why it makes sense, and here's, in the future, if you want to expand, here's how you would do it. And a lot of these systems build on top of each other, and implementations of, like for example, implementing these counters, a lot of it is they're all counters. So they all have a similar function in the sense that things show up on top of them. So you have your base counter, and your base counter has that functionality built into it, and then you can just kind of expand on that when you add different new counters. And it's just really nice to see how a project comes together when you know what you're doing, and when you're making your code clean and you're making your logic clean, and things aren't tied to each other very much at all, and the use of scriptable objects. And if I remove any of these game objects in here, the project doesn't crash and break, and there's not a bunch of errors. Or the scripts, if something doesn't have a script on it, it just it doesn't work, nothing's breaking, like and it's just been really nice. And it's kind of hard to sit down and do it, because I know that this is not what I want, and obviously I want to be working on the game that I want to play and that I want to make. But knowing what I know now, and I would not have gotten there, with and I won't get there without more tools and more knowledge. So the knowledge and the tools that you get from this course, I think, are very, very valuable. And I'm comfortable with events now. I'm more comfortable with scriptable objects. I'm comfortable with, should this be its own script? Should I put this logic in something else? He has interfaces. Interfaces seem really cool. Events are amazing. To try to put something together like I was without any events compared to what you can do with events, it's just night and day. And there's so many. He's got so many events in here. And it's just like, oh, this would make sense to be an event, and you can just implement that, and the implementation is easy and smooth, and it doesn't require lines of code, and you don't need to find a game object or create a reference or blah 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 or do all this stuff. How he decides to make functions, and he's got a bunch of scripts here, and I was worried about that. I was worried about a lot of different stuff in my project because I didn't know what I was doing. But the fact that this is a game that he made, and it's on Steam, and it's a functional, and it's clean, and it's expandable, and he did it in this way. It's just nice to know that this way does work, and it's not the only way, but just have things and stuff that work makes it a lot easier to kind of step into the fog. You have some lights in this metaphor anyway, but that's basically what I've been doing. So it's not really a fishing game update, but it's an update. It kind of is, because I'm doing this to work towards the end goal, which is to make my own game. So, but yeah, that's it. I don't want to go over the code and stuff, because I would have to sit here and think about. There was so much stuff, and I learned a lot, but there's a lot that kind of went over my head. And at least watching the video, I can sit here and I can figure out what things are doing, and I can figure that stuff out. So I'll have this as a resource, and if I know I did it in the Kitchen Chaos game, which is this, if I'm trying to implement something in my fishing game, I was like, okay, I know I did it over here, so let me go take a look and see how that was implemented, and then I can put that in my game without having to Google or ChatGPT individual things. I can see a functional implementation of something similar that I might want to do in my game. So I think it's been really cool. It's been very eye-opening, and I just really appreciate that he did this and he put it out there for free. So yeah, I guess that's about it. I'm going to finish this one, and he's got a multiplayer course after this one, which is 6 hours after that. And I really wanted to get a fundamental understanding of how multiplayer and I don't know if it goes into cloud saves, but there's a couple things that I want to figure out how they get implemented before I go back to the fishing game. I think I just want to start over. I still have the assets and everything, and what I did wasn't super complex or anything. It took me a long time, but I think I just want to start over and just do it again in repetition, and make it clean, and use some of the new tools I have and structure it up that way, and see how I feel about the state. Just take it to where it was, where I have it now. Just do that in a better way and see how I feel about things then. So I'll do this, and I'll do the multiplayer thing, and then I want to figure out cloud saves, and then I'll hop back in and start building the game again. Or that's the plan anyway. But yeah, see you later.